And yours, it wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't. Then they came back and divided it some more, so.
Oh, did you?
I forgot what happened.
They always do that.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff, are you there?
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Welcome. Yes. That's it, right? Regular meeting in Clear Lake City Council of Monday, January 18, 2021 shall come to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved.
Moved by Dana, seconded by Mark, that we approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. To the consent agenda, we have a copy of the minutes of January 4th, 2021. We need approval of the bills and claims, of which you also have a copy, and we have the following licenses and permits. Liquor license, Class C. Liquor license LC, commercial with Sunday sales, that's the Surf Ballroom. Class E, liquor license. Class B, wine permit. Class C, beer permit, that's Fairway. Those are renewals. Motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Gary, seconded by Mike, that we approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Now is the time and place for anyone in the audience who wishes to address the council on any issue or concern. Please approach the podium, state your name first and last, and give your address so the clerk can properly enter the minutes. This is not a discussion time, nor is it a question and answer time, but it is an opportunity to present your issue to the council, and you will have 3 to 5 minutes. None appearing, we'll move on to unfinished business, of which we have none. We'll move from there to 6, new business A, $715,000 taxable general obligation refunding bond. That's with McKesson, Series 2021C. Review, Mr. Schmidt. Welcome, Creighton.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Our first resolution we're looking at here is the bond refunding for the McKesson bonds that we issued back in 2014. We originally issued those for $1,620,000. We've paid those down to $700,000 now, and we see an opportunity because of the interest market. As we've been looking at a few of these other bond issuances, we've had a very favorable bond interest market out there, so we saw an opportunity here to look at this and bid this out for refunding. We've had the opportunity to prepay the rest of this. It was originally the final maturity date was 2024, June of 2024. So we have the opportunity now to pay this off. The interest rate for the remainder is just over 3%. So we wanted to bid this out and see if we could get more favorable rates, which is what we did. So we worked again with Northland and Chip at Northland Securities. We put this out for a bid, and the bids that we received back were from Clear Lake Bank and Trust, submitted the winning bid at 0.35%, and MBT also submitted a great rate at 0.52. So of course, the recommendation is to go with the lowest bid there, with Clear Lake Bank and Trust at 0.35. And this is a net savings of just over $20,000 for the remainder. We're gonna keep the same term, so it'll still hit maturity at that June of 2024. And the interest, I know, Mike, you had asked about this on our bonds a couple weeks ago, but the interest over those remaining years is $4,400. So next to nothing when you have an interest rate that is that favorable. One other thing to point out is Chip at Northland, he put together a weighted average of what our bonds will be at, what interest rate they'll be at, total bonds for the city. Our weighted average is now 0.599 when we get all of these issued. But the remaining schedule for this is today we are issuing the formal award to that lowest bidder. And then on February 1st, we'll have a resolution actually authorizing the issuance of these same bonds. And that's all.
Council, do you have any questions for Creighton?
Not a question, but a comment. I'm not sure why we didn't hire this guy several years ago with these kind of rates he's getting, so. All right, well, that might explain it.
Thank you. We have Chip with Northland Public Finance phonetically tonight. Chip, do you have any comments at all?
Yeah, I think what Creighton had mentioned really summarizes it well. Just well done to the city, and this wouldn't happen if not for the good financial stewardship that you've been practicing over the years. So kudos to you for that, and happy to answer any questions that you might have.
So any questions for Chip? Thank you. Thank you for your comments, Chip. Appreciate it. Therefore, I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2107. This is a resolution awarding sale of $715,000 taxable general obligation refunding bond, Series 2021C, and the recommendation is that we award that sale to Clear Lake Bank and Trust at 0.35%. Motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Bennett, seconded by Gary, that we approve Resolution 2107. Is there any discussion? Roll call. Mark?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Dana?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
And Gary?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2107 is duly adopted. 6B, purchase of combination sewer cleaner truck. Intro, Mr. Flory.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. In your packet, start out with the yellow sheet there is a bid summary. It was put together by the interim Public Works Director and Fleet Manager for this new jetvac purchase, and I'll let Jeremy review that here momentarily with you. Also, following that, just some information from some brochures regarding the machine. And I'll give you a little bit of, again, some background information, then Jeremy's going to review that letter of recommendation with you. So back at your meeting on December 21st, the Public Works Director had reviewed the proposed RFP, and that was authorized by City Council to submit competitive bid proposals for a new combination sewer cleaning truck. City, of course, currently, we reviewed at the last meeting, we use a 2006 Camel sewer cleaning truck. This was not something that was originally anticipated for our fiscal year 21 amended budget. However, due to the present condition of the truck and the frequent unscheduled, rather costly maintenance that we're seeing on that item, we decided to move that up to our fiscal year 21 amended budget and then defer purchase of some other capital items for later. Therefore, we're proposing to amend the fiscal year 21 municipal budget in order to purchase this combination sewer jetvac truck now. Again, because this is a major capital purchase, so we're talking about something with a life expectancy of 15 years or more. The Public Works staff's been demoing major brands of the combination sewer cleaner trucks and evaluating them for power, ease of use, design, long-term maintenance, and other aspects. They've been doing that over the course of the last several months. We did solicit competitive quotes from various vendors, and those were due at the Public Works office on January 5th, 2021. After consideration of the overall truck cost, trade value that we would receive for the 2006 Camel, and recommendations from other Public Works departments, it's recommended that the city purchase the 2020 Vector 21001 PD combo sewer truck from McQueen Equipment. They're located in St. Paul, Minnesota. They also have a branch in Ankeny, Iowa, so we could get service from either location. Purchase amount would be $486,411, and that would be less the trade-in for the 2006 Camel of $30,000. So if you recall, in our specifications, we reserve the right to sell the machine on our own if we wished, but talking to Jeremy, I think we're probably going to lean just towards trading it in, accepting that $30,000 trade value. So that would lower that $486,000 figure by that trade value amount. So again, we talked about this at the meeting on the 21st, but this is probably one of the most versatile pieces of equipment that the city, or any city for that matter, has in its fleet. It's integral to sewer maintenance. We use it for a variety of uses, but probably the most critical piece that we have when we're responding to calls for sewer backups. But again, it's just a very useful piece of equipment. The technology on it has come a long way since 2006. Like we talked at the December 21st meeting, the technology in so many areas has improved so much year to year. And so when we're talking about replacing a machine that was 14 years newer with this one, some of the improvements are remarkable for us. We also, some of the advantages of the McQueen, and Jeremy can talk about that a little bit. We think the decibel levels when it's operating were much lower with the McQueen machine, the Vector machine. Also, they have some proprietary rights to some devices, some attachments that go onto it that we think would be very beneficial for our guys in terms of moving pipe and so forth. So I don't have anything further on that in terms of my background. Jeremy can review that recommendation with you, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody might have.
Council, any questions for Scott? Thank you, Scott. Review of bid proposal and recommendation, Jeremy Kornberg. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. So we sent out requests for proposals back in December. I think December 22nd was when those went out. We received bids from 4 different vendors, or 5 bids from 4 vendors. After review, we narrowed it down to just 2. That those 2 bids met all of the specifications for water pump, engine, all the different aspects that we were looking for, pretty much. So we narrowed it down to those 2. Those were also 2 units that we were able to demo and get a good idea of what we were looking at for a machine. One of those was the McQueen Equipment bid. It was for the 2020 Vector 2100i PD combo sewer truck. This is a demo unit. It's actually the one that we demoed while we were here. Their quote also includes one of the main options which Scott actually alluded to a little bit, which is called the rapid deployment boom. It's a proprietary piece of equipment, and that single page kind of describes a little bit what it does. And with what we do a lot, we're cleaning a lot of manholes. So when we're cleaning sewer lines and we're pulling grit and whatnot down those lines, every time we come up to a manhole, we end up having to suck that out. With this, we won't have to be pulling our aluminum steel tubes off the truck, adding tubes to the boom every single time we go down that hole. And those can range from putting a 5-foot piece on to putting 20 feet of tube on. With this being able to go down 15 feet, we can essentially get about 85% of our manholes without ever adding another piece of equipment. So it's right there. It booms down, sucks out the manhole and pulls it out. And then they can move on to the next one. So that's included in their bid, as well as they added in a magnetic boom manhole lifter that would attach to the front of that boom as well. So as we're lifting manholes up, et cetera, we got that piece of equipment to help us out as well. Extended warranties are kind of basic, especially with a machine like this. We'll never hit our 100,000 miles because it stays in town, but the 5 years is something that's pretty much invaluable, especially with a piece of machine that gets run hard like this. So 5-year drivetrain warranty, 5-year after treatment warranty, and the 5-year Allison transmission warranty as well. And those are kind of a no-brainer add-on. The second bid that we entertained and looked at excuse me, was from Mid-Iowa Solid Waste, which is out of Johnson, Iowa, and that was a 2021 Sika Sewer Equipment Company combo machine. This is kind of a basic machine. It a lot less frills to it. When operating, it was a little bit louder of a machine. There was a few things that just, when comparing the two, weren't, maybe just didn't stand up to the Vector truck. So, a lot of their extended warranty options were similar. It's standard Freightliner Allison transmission warranties. So, in considering those two trucks, like I mentioned, the rapid deployment boom was one major, I guess, bonus for that machine, as well as the ability to work at a quieter station, so that Vector machine operated at much quieter decibels when we were demoing it. It also had a much larger debris tank. So the back of that tank has a 15-yard debris tank, and when we were demoing that, we were able to actually suck out our entire catch basin in one shot. Normally, with our current truck, which is a 9-yard, it takes probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 different trips sometimes to suck one of those out. So, you know, looking at something like that, the time savings, you know, over a year, and cleaning all of our sewer systems, et cetera, just it's kind of a game changer there, and allows us to get a lot more work done in a short amount of time. So, as part of the purchase agreement, the City of Clear Lake will receive 2 full days of on-site user training provided by McQueen. They'll bring their guys down, run us through the machine, give us all the ins and outs, get us up to date on all the new technologies, all the computer interfaces, et cetera, that are on there. They will also bring in somebody from Vector once kind of the COVID restrictions die down for a full 1-day mechanics technical training. So we'll have our fleet manager, mechanic, Rod, there for that. I'll probably include a couple of other guys just to kind of get an idea of, you know, the simpler stuff that they can maintain as well. We did, during the process, contact and get a reference user list from McQueen. All the customers provided favorable reviews. The performance, according to them, was great, and then, you know, all the employees had positive feedback about the use of the machine. We did have one, City of Franklin mentioned they had a couple minor issues right when they first purchased the unit, but follow-up and service by McQueen was able to take care of all that really quickly. So considering the locations, I think if we were to have any hiccups, and according to the information we provided, they're right there. They've told us they can pretty much call them and they can diagnose some of the stuff over the phone for us. So it's pretty great service provided. McQueen is a pretty large company. They've been doing business with the City of Clear Lake for quite a while. They were actually previously, or they purchased a company from Clear Lake, Trans-Iowa Equipment, a few years ago. Trans-Iowa started here in Clear Lake, and then they're located down in Ankeny. We've actually purchased our current Elgin street sweeper from Trans-Iowa Equipment. We also purchased our snow blowers from that company, and again, their service has always been great. We have some headsets, some electronic headsets that we use on the Camel, or our current vac truck that we've provided or purchased from them. And again, they've always been there. They've always been around to help. So I don't see any issues with the service that they'll provide for this machine as well. On a lesser note, it comes on a Western Star chassis and Allison transmission, which can be serviced right here in Clear Lake at Truck Star Centers, or truck center companies, formerly Harrison. And they do have some add-ons that were part of the bid that they got to add to the truck, trash pumps and different stuff to make it operable, and to get to where we want it. And they said they could probably have that done in 3 weeks and delivered by mid to late February. So pending an approval. So that is all I have. And if you have any questions.
Council, any questions for Jeremy? I assume like the other jet vac that we had, we use these for all those grit chambers too?
Yes.
And
Yep.
do we assist any of the, like Ventura or the county, or the sanitary has theirs?
Yeah, sanitary district covers them for Venturas and county. We do back the sanitary district up, so if they ever have an issue with their truck, we back them up and vice versa. So if ours is ever down, they end up backing us up, or if they had to go to service or anything like that.
So this then pulls all the sludge and nutrients out of there, so.
Yep, yep.
As that grit chamber is supposed to do, keeps it out of the lake, and that's what we
Right,
want.
I
That's-
don't know the exact number, but when we go to do those, it takes a few weeks to get through all of them, so. So hopefully this will cut it down quite a few days, so.
From what I've heard, this is used a lot, isn't it? This,
From pretty much once the snow's gone till late in the fall, it can pretty much be, it's pretty used almost every day, so. We spend a considerable amount of time cleaning our sanitary sewers, and then we try and get through about a third of those a year, a third of our whole system every year. And then we go through all of our storm system every year, and then we gotta clean all our grit chambers, the impervious pavers, clean our lift stations out, so. And that doesn't include any of the water main breaks or hydro excavating stuff that we do for various projects.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And one more thing, although Jeremy did a remarkably good job there reviewing that, in terms of the department funds used to pay for this, though this primarily is used by the sanitary sewer department, so we'll be probably utilizing the general fund and a transfer to sanitary sewer, or maybe not, but sewer would be the primary beneficiary of this piece of equipment. So also the water department, to a lesser extent, utilizes the equipment and breaks, water main breaks and so forth. And also, as Mayor was mentioning, the lake projects and stormwater. So, between stormwater, sanitary, water, general, sewer, those are the primary departments that'll be covering the cost of the machinery.
Thank you. Therefore, I'll entertain a motion to approve purchase of a 2020 Vector 2100 PD combination sewer truck from McQueen Equipment, St. Paul, Minnesota, in the amount of $486,411 and a penny, and then we'll deduct $30,000 on the trade-in from the old equipment. Motion, please.
So offered.
Second.
Moved by Mike, seconded by Dana, that we approve the purchase of the 2020 Vector 2100 PD sewer truck. Is there any discussion?
Just one quick comment. My wife is always very excited when I come home and tell her we've purchased things like a new sewer cleaner truck, so. Easy come, easy go. I guess we just saved 20,000, but you gotta go the other way once in a while, so. Anyway, it's a great piece of equipment, and as Jeremy mentions, just constantly in use to protect our lake and keep all of our plumbing working correctly, so good job.
Any other discussion, council? Motion on the floor. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Thank you. 6C, General Obligation Bond Series 2021A Marriott and 2021B, the land acquisition review. Mr. Schmidt, Creighton.
Mayor and council, at our January 4th meeting, the council awarded financing to Clear Lake Bank and Trust for the 2021 taxable general obligation bonds for the Marriott project, $1.2 million at 0.55%. And to MBT Bank, we awarded the 2021B general obligation bonds for the land acquisition, $600,000 at 0.42%. Tonight, we are considering the resolution to authorize the issuance. If we pass that, then January 28th, we'll have the closing and the delivery of the funds. These are both 7-year notes. The first maturity is June of 2022, and the final maturity is dated for June 1st of 2028. And these bonds are subject to redemption on June 1st of 2026. I doubt we'll be refunding like we did earlier with that other project since we have such favorable interest rates, but the opportunity is out there for that or to pay them off early after June 1st, 2026.
Council, any questions for Creighton? Creighton? Chip, do you have anything to add to that?
Nothing to add, that covered it quite well. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Chip, appreciate it. Therefore, I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2108, the resolution approving and authorizing a loan agreement and providing for an issuance of a $1,200,000 taxable general obligation urban renewal economic development bond, Series 2021A, and providing for the levy of taxes to pay the bond, and the issuance is to Clear Lake Bank and Trust at 0.55%. Motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Dana, seconded by Mark, that we approve Resolution 2108. Is there any discussion? Mike?
Yes.
Dana?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
And Mark?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2108 is duly adopted. And now I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2109, a resolution approving and authorizing a loan agreement and providing for the issuance of a $600,000 general obligation corporate purpose bond, Series 2021B, and providing for the levy of taxes to pay the bond, and the issuance is to MBT Bank in the amount of 0.42%. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mark, seconded by Gary, that we approve Resolution 2109. Is there any discussion? Dana?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2109 is duly adopted. Thank you. 6D, purchase of 210 North 4th Street. Review, Mr. Flores.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. As the Mayor mentioned, this is for the approval of the purchase and acquisition of property locally known as 210 North 4th Street from Woodford Wheeler Lumber Company. Specifically, the property is legally described as lots 1, 2, 3, 4, and Block 17, Marcus and Tuttle's Edition, Clear Lake. So we've talked about this, I think, probably 3 or 4 meetings in a row now, so I don't have a lot in terms of background information to add to that. The yellow sheets after that, pink sheet, which is the resolution, is the offer to buy the commercial real estate. Probably thing to point out is we're anticipating probably closing on or about March 1st of the year, and the property is being sold in as-is condition. So once we approve the action tonight, we'll probably start then the process of having it inspected for asbestos and have that those kinds of things taken care of, and then start a process for the eventual demolition of the property and site preparation. So it is in an appropriate interim status while we go through a process to determine the best use for the property. Obviously, we've acquired it for purposes of a future library expansion project, but what that may entail, we don't know yet. So I know Council's very deliberate about wanting to involve the community in that conversation, as well as, of course, the Library Board of Trustees and other stakeholders in the community. So I think it's an exciting opportunity to work towards the future there. So I would only add, again, the purchase price at $343,000 represents 115% of the assessed value of the property. So it's not very often that we're able to acquire properties for 15% more than our standard practice of 15% more than what the assessed value is. So that very positive thing. I think the the property, Tom and Jan Lovell, have worked very well with us, and appreciate their support of the city and us wanting to move this project forward. So I think, as you well know, the lumber yard's relocated out east now, but this is an important piece for our community downtown, so appreciate their willingness to work with the city and make something very positive happen there, and I look forward to a project there in the future. So again, I know you're all well aware, but it's Clear Lake's oldest business, dating back, I think, to 1886.
1869.
1869. So, just very, very steeped business in Clear Lake history and tradition here. So I'm very fortunate to still have the lumber yard here in our community. So I don't have anything further unless anyone has any questions on that topic.
Council, any questions for Scott? Therefore, I entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2109, a resolution approving purchase of property locally known as 210 North 4th Street from Woodford Wheeler Lumber Company in the city of Clear Lake, and the amount of $343,000. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded by Mark, that we approve Resolution 2109. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I think this is a tremendous opportunity for us. As Scott mentioned, Woodford Lumberyard is a very historic business. It goes back to 1869 at its origin. And their decision to move and relocate created a significant opportunity for us to kind of reflect together on how this important downtown property could be used for the public good, if there was one. And through the gracious willingness of the owners, Tom and Jan Lovell, and their family, we kind of engaged this idea of expanding the library, and that's kind of brought us to this point tonight. So I think the decision to purchase the property is merely the first step, and I want to emphasize that, the first step in a long process to develop a state-of-the-art library and community center project, or as Scott said, as we engage perhaps a consultant and discuss it as a community, maybe other ideas would be involved in that as well. But however that develops, we hope to have a unique facility that would be a significant asset to Clear Lake and be a catalyst for attracting all kinds of people, in particular young people, young families, and folks like that. So I'd like to thank our city staff and Scott Flory for leading this process to purchase the property. And again, for all your hard work, Scott, and the discussions we had with the owners. And also, I'd like to thank Mayor, the Clear Lake Library Trustee Board, as well as the Friends and Foundation boards for their input in this process and their support of it. And then, most importantly, I want to thank Tom and Jan Lovell and their family for their business and philanthropic leadership here in Clear Lake for our community, and their willingness to sell us this property and then support the vision that we have for it. That's greatly appreciated. So, again, my thanks to those folks. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Just one quick comment. Purchasing a lumber yard by the city is not without precedence. We are sitting in a location that for many years was the Spawn and Rose, later to be Lake Lumber Yard, which the city purchased either in 64 or 65 to build the current city hall and fire station, which now is part of the PD. So once again, your faithful historian speaks, and I will shut up now.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call. Bennett. Yes. Gary.
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
And Dana.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2109 is duly adopted. 6E, entryway welcome signs improvement project. Intro, Mr. Flory.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, got a number of items here in your packet dealing with this item. This is something, just in way some background, that the Chamber and I and others have had some conversation off and on over the last couple of years about the welcome signs, the entryway signs that come into the community. You've got one at McDonald's, one by the Team Quest building, one at US Highway 18 and 8th Street. And then we want to put another one up at the property that we acquired on Buddy Holly Place by US Highway 18, as well as an entryway welcome sign into the Surf District. So these are something that just in the conversations that we've had with the Chamber off and on, that existing signs that we have in place at those locations don't really reflect the terrific progress and success and momentum that Clear Lake has had over the last several years. And, you know, tonight we had a few examples talking about a McKesson project, a Marriott project, a library project, all these kinds of things. I thought, in talking with Stacy Dawn, you've got a letter from her in the packet here, recommending that the council approve the proposal from LRI Graphics, and Bob Lazier is here with LRI, and he's going to give a presentation here in a moment on the proposed welcome signs, entryway signs. But I thought she made a very good point when she made the comment, we were all talking about it, that the signs that we have in place are high maintenance, and they're probably circa 1995 kind of signs. So they're dated, and they don't really reflect again, the terrific success that we've had economically and so forth in our community. So I thought it seemed like a great opportunity to proceed with this kind of a project. Bob's company has done a lot of work with Clear Lake Community School District, and I know Nelson and I have gone and seen a lot of that work firsthand and very impressed with it. And I've talked to Doug G. at the superintendent's office, and again, he's complimented LRI Graphics for the work that they've done. So I thought with that relationship there, Bob and his company is also a chamber member here in the community, and for those of you, probably needs no introduction. He says he learned everything he knows from Mike Callahan, by the way. So, and you're the greatest coach he ever had. I'm kidding. But his father was one-time superintendent here. Of course, Bob has a home here in the community, and is a long-time faithful supporter of Clear Lake. So it seemed like a really good opportunity to work with his company, and again, I think it just seemed like a really good marriage. So you've got some examples of some of the signage there in your packet, and he's going to show us what the LED graphic board looks like tonight. So gracious to come back this evening and put that on for the council, so you can see just exactly what the two LED boards would look like. So we'd have LED board there at the Buddy Holly location, as well as the one at US Highway 18 and 8th Street. So the others would be just the standard signs there. So again, we're talking about four signs total for this project, two of which would have the LED graphics that essentially run on the internet, cellular service. So the chamber would have the ability, or the surf nonprofit have the ability to change up the message on the LED signs as well. So I think they really have a terrific panache to them, if you will, and I think, again, they have the nautical theme to them. You're very familiar with the signs that we currently have. They don't really express who we are as a community, I don't think, at all. And they probably were appropriate back in the late 90s, but certainly not in the 21st century. So I think this is a terrific project for us. I think, again, they look really, really great. So appreciate Bob and his good work on these sign proposals. So I don't have anything further in terms of any background on that, unless anyone has any questions. I'll just turn it over to Bob, and he can review the proposal. Otherwise, again, you've got that in your packet. We've got to do a few things like getting the electrical to the locations, but other than that, it's pretty much a soup to nuts type proposal for the signs. So.
Council, any questions for Scott? Thank you, Scott. Great introduction. Mr. Lazier. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you very much. Mayor, Council, Scott, thanks for the nice introduction. Yes, I'm a proud Clear Lake product. I grew up here. My dad was a longtime superintendent here, and my wife and I met here and graduated from high school and got married. So we're proud Clear Lake folks and have a home here and are here more and more. I'd say summer home, but we're here more and more throughout the year. So really proud of being part of a product of Clear Lake. As Scott said, we're here tonight to talk a little bit about the Welcome to Clear Lake signs. And as he said, I think the Clear Lake, or the Welcome to Clear Lake signs that are there now have served their purpose, but they're a little bit past due and maybe a little bit outdated. There's so many new types of signage products and technology that really will bring them to life in the way of welcoming visitors to town, but also informing and promoting all of the great events that we have here on a regular basis. We've got a demo van out here that shows the kinds of video boards that we represent. What you see here, if you saw it when you came in, is a 6mm board, which really gives you the highest definition of boards available today. And that's really important. If you think about your TV at home, you want the highest resolution. And so these things really allow you to have not only static signage and promoting things that are going on in town, but video. So as you want to promote video and special things that are going on, it allows you to do those kinds of things. And we just thought, in talking to Stacy and Trish and Scott and Mayor Crabb, that this would be a great opportunity for Clear Lake to really upgrade those signs. So what we did, we worked on a couple different ideas for you, and you'll see in your packet. The first one is the Welcome to Clear Lake sign. As Scott said, it has the dock posts and dock ropes on the side. It has kind of the Clear Lake fieldstone look on the base, and a little bit like the yacht club and what you're doing with the seawall downtown. But on that proposal, you've got the Welcome to Clear Lake up top. That's a lighted sign. It has halo effects, if you will. So at night, the white lights light up, the Clear Lake lights up. This white line where it says Welcome to Clear Lake kind of lights up in a halo effect. So it glows at night with LEDs. And then you've got the video board here, and that's a Cirrus LED 6mm video board. So again, that's all controllable from your, whoever you would have create the messaging that would go on that board, etc. But it's very easy to do. Our proposal comes with lifetime training, so we bring your people up to speed on how to easily manage the information that's on that board. If that person's gone or leaves, retires, whatever, we come back and train the next person up. So very easy to run, very high technology, very user-friendly. So that's the first proposal we have in front of you, and there's two of those. And those would be located at Buddy Holly and 8th Street. Okay. The second picture that you have in your packet is the Welcome to Clear Lake sign without the video board, and we're proposing two of those as well. And those are the same exact sign, the same exact fieldstone. Everything looks exactly the same. It just doesn't have the LED board, video board on there. So you'd have two of those as well, and those would be located. McDonald's and Team Quest. And then the third picture that you have is what we're proposing for the Surf District. And this is kind of a neat look. The folks asked us to kind of put together some ideas based on what they were looking for that area. And so this is what we came up with. We can tweak this to your liking, but this one, as you can see, has the same Clear Lake fieldstone that the other ones have, but it has cut metal guitars on either side of the sign. And up top, it has kind of a neon look that says, Welcome to Clear Lake's Surf District. And that would be located on your new property. Right. So, and that one's got the video board on it. So that's one of the two with the LED video display. Okay? And again, you can have different messaging. So your messaging at 8th Street can be talking about the 4th of July and all of that kind of stuff, and your board at Buddy Holly at the Surf District could be talking about what's going on at the surf that weekend. So you can have different messaging going on. Okay? Any questions about the signs themselves or the boards?
Council, any questions for Bob on that?
Are they, anything electronic is just sometimes something waiting to break down? Are they relatively easy to get going again?
Yes.
I think of the many years that Clear Lake Bank and Trust had a sign above the drive-up bank that seemed to not have anything on it for a good share of the time. It was supposed to be messaging, and finally they just gave up, and now it just says Clear Lake Bank and Trust. So anyway, I think it's a legitimate question.
I would submit that technology's come a long way, that these boards are weatherproof. They're much different than the old, like we had at Clear Lake Bank and Trust and Community State Bank, and all of those had maybe the amber signs that just did messages, no video. So yeah, these boards are much higher technology. I have Dan Warwick here with me. Dan represents Cirrus. They're the board manufacturer that we represent for. And so if you have any specific questions about that, Dan, you want to talk a little bit about just weather and how they stand up against that kind of thing?
Thank you.
Welcome, Dan.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. IP67 rated, meaning that it's extremely waterproofed and, can handle any kind of weather, the rain and the heat, etc. The sophistication of our boards are pretty strong, that if they were to overheat a little bit, they shut themselves off and restart when appropriate. So it's got that, and to your point about, what happens if it needs some work. Ours, we have a real simplified model. It's 1x2 modular component systems, so you can access them from the front or the back. You just take them on, stick it in, replace, connect 2 wires, and it's over. So there's no fans, no ribbons, things like that. So we've got just an exceptional state-of-the-art product for future-proofing. Meaning you could have a 6mm today, and if 5 years from now, 4mm seems to be the appropriate choice. At that point, you could replace those mods, leave the frames and everything, and just take those out, new ones in. It's a couple of quick snaps, and you're up and running with a state-of-the-art new board. So 4mm is something that we are in the process of creating, but right now the 6mm are highest res. And that's the distance between, the LEDs themselves. So the closer that number, the higher the resolution. Really, video, high graphic quality. That's the nature of where Cirrus, and we say that the industry is going is to a much higher resolution, kind of moving away from the text messages, the monochrome, the ambers of the world, and moving towards really nice looking graphics, being able to put people up on the screen, videos on the screen. We have RSS feeds that you can do time and temp. The software is absolutely bar none superior and very good and user friendly. And Bob had already mentioned that lifetime training for end users yourselves for as many people as needed or the next person up. Any other questions?
Thank you.
So that those who are authorized to put messages on, et cetera, that can be done from their desk?
Yeah, it can be done from really any device. It's, in my opinion, it's difficult to do it on a cell phone. It's very simple to do, simple things from a cell phone, but it is accessible from your cell phone, but mostly from desktop, iPad, any device you'll be able to make whatever changes are needed. You can program as many displays as you'd like, meaning you can change your display throughout the course of the day, the hour, or just leave one display running and constantly change it. So there's a number of ways to tackle the content that is very simple. I mean, I do it every day for all my meetings. I just move out 4 slides, move in 4 slides. Others have a good example would be a restaurant that has daily changes, menu changes. They might have 14 different displays, one for lunch, one for dinner, or maybe 21 for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they can incorporate all those displays as need be. Really, sky's the limit.
Mm-hmm. And as we talked at around noon today, if the power does go out, these can be rebooted and.
Yeah, certainly that happens, and it's going to reboot itself when the power comes back up. Certainly from time to time, you can reboot it with a control box that's on each of your signs. So we've got a real simple plug feature. You just hit the button and it restarts it for you as well. The software does talk back to both the end user and Cirrus. So if there was, an issue, it does go back and forth, and we can sometimes identify that proactively. Certainly can call our service tech group and get that resolved for you super quickly if there was an issue.
So maintenance is very minimal, if any.
Yeah, I mean, there's a 5-year warranty on the hardware itself, so you've got that for sure. And then, software, state-of-the-art's available to you for lifetime. Those are pretty important features that we offer you.
Great. Council, do you have anything further? Thanks.
Thank you.
So I would submit, again, you've got a great company like Cirrus behind us, but then LRI Signs and Graphics, we have a maintenance company that when maintenance is needed, in the unlikely event that happens, we've got trained people that'll be able to fix them. So you've got a page here with the pricing on it, and the first line on this first page says welcome sign with blade M 6mm. That's what we're proposing, the 6mm board. That's the high resolution board. As you'll see there, we've proposed 2 of those, and the price on each of those signs is $30,026.50. That includes a 4x10 single-sided display, and again consists of the 20 LED panels, half-inch aluminum frames. Then we're proposing 2, not 3, of the regular signs without the LED board. It looks like this. Okay, and those are $5,004 each. We had originally thought you wanted 3. You only want 2, but they're $5,004 each. $10,008 on that line. And then the installation, this would be, this price would be about the same. We'd reduce it because we're installing 1 less sign, so it'd be about 1/4 off of that install charge. So that would be the pricing for the 6mm boards. And then the next page, the last page that you have, is the same exact format, but it's a 9mm board, and that's the lower resolution monitor. It's a little bit less expensive. You can see the math there. What we're seeing is people are going with a higher resolution. We'd hate to have people get into the 9mm and 2 years later go, shoot, I wish we would have gotten the higher res board. So what we would have you consider is the 6mm board, but the 9mm pricing is there if you wanted to look at it. Lastly, I would say that the only things that aren't included here are, we're working with chamber member Country Landscapes to do the dock post and the rope and the stonework on the front of each sign. And then the Buddy Holly or the Surf District sign, we're working with Clear Lake's metal fabricators to cut those guitars out and make that sign on the top. And I don't have pricing from them yet. But they will have that in short order, and I'm confident that that pricing will come in and be a fraction of what the overall picture is. But we'll work with Clear Lakes, Country Landscapes, and metal fabricators to do those things. And lastly, I would say from a timing standpoint, I know we would all like to get these up and ready to go for the summer, and with your approval, we can get these signs made and installed and get your people up and running in April. By the end of April would be our goal, so that when we roll into May, these are up and running and you've got time to play with them and get the content that you want on the screens by the time Memorial Day rolls around and summer's in full swing.
So, Bob, can you help me with your total cost here? Do we have that?
Let's see. Yes, I can do that. Mayor, it'd be $87,061 for the 6 mm boards, plus pricing we get from Country Landscapes and metal fabricators. And then the last thing is electric, just getting electric to the sign to power the boards. At $87,061 would be our part.
And that's for the 4 boards, 2 of which are LED, 6 mm.
Yes, sir.
And there's no tax on that, correct?
No tax.
Right, okay.
Correct.
Okay. Council, any questions for Bob? Any questions on any part of it? Well, we got Bob here.
The only thing I'd say, if you would like to take a look at the board, if you haven't seen it, we've got it running out here right now, if you want to take a look now or afterwards, but we've got it here for you to look at.
I must say the resolution is very, very good.
Yes.
Very good. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for something to certainly designate who we are, without having to look through a bunch of weeds and so on.
Yes.
To see that we are Clear Lake, and this certainly does that. And just make sure that there's minimal landscaping there.
Yeah.
I
think-
we don't, Flory and I don't need to be going out there and pulling dandelions. So,
In our first drawing, we had grasses and plants and things around it, and we said, take that out, we don't want to have that. So this proposal doesn't include any of that. You'll be able to mow right up to
Yeah,
it, there won't
good,
be anything
good,
around it.
good,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. They'll be highly visible. It'll really show off what we're doing here, and you'll be proud of them.
Bob, is the board you have here 6 or the 9?
This is the 6.
This is the 6
Yep.
that's here. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Now, we do have a 9 mm that's on the other side, if you want to go outside and look at that. But this is the 6, and this is what most people are electing to do.
Yeah, thank you.
But the lower the number, the higher the resolution.
Right, yeah. The
Okay.
lower the number, the higher the resolution.
Okay.
There's a lot of boards up and down Old Highway 18 that have the old, they're
Yeah.
not very good resolution, and sometimes they're hard to see. And if you try to do video on them, you can't see it.
Yeah.
As you can see on these are like in your living room. I mean, these are high res, and these are the future.
Clarity is critical.
Yeah.
Here. I mean, if we're, all you see is a blur on there when you're coming down, they're worthless.
Right.
So that's critical that we have that.
And I think
lower
it's
number.
smart to invest in technology that'll grow as you grow, and these boards will. If you want to start doing video, and who knows what your programmers and your content managers might want to put on there, this will enable you to do that versus some of the other boards you'd go out. We don't have good enough resolution to do that. So this will grow with you as you grow.
So really, they're multi-purpose. It's not just, hey, welcome to Clear Lake. I mean, we can put a whole variety of things on there.
Right.
There are many, many uses for those, including emergencies. If, something's happening, we can quickly change that right on, as you said, on your desktop. And
Absolutely.
Go
So
from
there's the software, Dan talked a little bit about it, but the software allows you to create schedules so that you can create 24-hour-a-day content and how it plays and how it rolls. And now you've got something, an emergency or something you need to inform the community and visitors of, you can go in and change that. And so it's easy to use, easy to program, easy to schedule, so somebody's not having to do it all day, every day. In a lot of cases, you can schedule it and let it run.
so we got 4 signs, 2 of them LED, Buddy Holly Place in 18, North 8th and Highway 18, those are the LED
Yep.
ones. And welcome to Clear Lake, Team Quest location and the McDonald's location
Right,
with no landscaping.
right, right.
All right. Any other questions?
Okay, on North 8th and Buddy Holly, which direction would these actually face?
I think they'll probably be mostly like at an angle. We'll have to go out and kind of size it up, but we're probably thinking, now there has been some thought maybe we might want to go with a double-sided LED there too, but I think as we kind of work through it a little bit, my initial reaction is probably like at an angle.
Okay, just to play the devil's advocate here, are these, and maybe the chief could help me with this, are these the type of things that could be distractions to drivers and create a danger?
Well, if you're, I suppose, if you're, should be driving the car. But,
Well,
I mean, I think there's commentary on that all the time, whether it's a phone or what have you. But, yeah, I mean, I suppose people can look at things other than the road when they're driving and create nags. I don't know that these signs would contribute to that any more than your cell phone or other things that people are doing instead of driving.
Well, I guess that's why I brought up the angle and how they would be facing. I mean, yeah, obviously North 8th and 18 and Buddy Holly and 18 are two of our busiest intersections. And anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you've got stop signs, fully actuated, or traffic signals there. So, you know, we'd assume that people would read them while they're stopped at the stop sign, or stop lights. But I don't think there's anybody's got a fix for people that are doing things that they shouldn't be doing when they're driving. So.
No, and yeah, I just want to make sure we're not adding another thing. I mean, the distracted driving thing is kind of a big deal right now. But I mean, I think the concept is great, but I think they have to be very carefully placed and you know, try to consider how people are going to read them and when they make that turn or something or come through the intersection.
I mean, I think, you know, like the DOT, I see them all the time. You know, the DOT has signs over the interstate that says, don't text and drive, for example, or other things. So, I mean, they're used everywhere for those things in business. You know, whether or not somebody's not paying enough attention to drive. And I don't know, Chief, do you have anything you want to add to that? Or?
I mean, there's already enough distractions up there as it was. I would assume that their welcome sign would be facing, Buddy Holly would be facing people coming in from the west, and the one here on 8th would be facing people coming in from the east as welcoming to Clear Lake. That's what I think one of you told me about. But I mean, there's already, when Casey goes up there and Buddy Holly, that, you know, people looking at the gas signs and what fuel is, and I mean, it's just another, you know, people get used to it. And then number two is that I doubt it'll be that big of a, I mean, the messages will have to be, and cars are going 45 miles an hour anyway, so they won't be that big of a message, but just maybe some static displays or some text, but it probably will not be what you're thinking a lot of rear enders have to be for those, at those locations.
Any other comments, Council?
I might just add, you know, for years, I was talking to the mayor and Bob earlier this afternoon. We're talking, fire chief was in. I said, you know, for years we've had those, like the fire department for the pancake supper or breakfast would put those little real estate signs out at 8th and Main. So, you know, I guess it really epitomizes the move from, you know, maybe the old days to the 21st century, where now at the intersection we'd be able to have that LED board giving the message about the pancake breakfast and those kinds of things, as opposed to the current practice of sticking that tiny little real estate sign there in the corner. So I think, getting back to the theme that Stacy kind of started talking about earlier, I think it definitely represents who we are better as a community, the success that we've had here, especially recently, these signs. So.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Scott, and a great idea, frankly, because when I think about, you know, I wrote down, as you guys were talking about it here, the advertising impact and the ability to promote events.
Exactly.
So I think, I mean, just a terrific upgrade in our ability to do that. And
And I think that's why the chamber's so excited. You know, when those original signs are in place now were put in, we did not have anywhere near the number of events and activities that are going on here now, and you've got just a fixed sign that doesn't really say much more than the name of the town on it. And you know, when you have a community that's so active, especially with events and tourism, you know, the ability to change up some messaging is pretty significant.
And they'll look a lot nicer, like you say, in a number of events at the Surf, for example, that you can promote. Just terrific. So I want to thank Stacy and staff over at the chamber for, you know, and Bob and his team, because again, I think it'd be a tremendous upgrade for all those signs.
Definitely. And, you know, I have to anecdotally tell a story. We did this when we did the directional wayfinding signs with the Iowa Great Places project. You know, we have the signs around the community that point to all the destinations, and the surf is one of those on there. But I always remember one evening I was at Casey's there on Buddy Holly. I was buying a six-pack of pop, I believe, at the time. But, you know, and a young gentleman was there for a concert, and he asked the gal at the cash register, "Where is the surf?"
Oh, my. Yeah.
But that, and she said, "Oh, we get that many times a day." And so, you know, now with an opportunity, and I think that's back to when we bought that property at that location of 8th Avenue North and Buddy Holly, the idea was that we'd be able to create some kind of a signage feature for the surf district. And so, you know, I look at it today with this opportunity to put a sign like that indicating welcome to the surf district in Clear Lake. I think it's a good thing for the town.
Any other?
Sorry, I just got two quick questions. The one out on North 8th Street, would that need to be elevated with the way that sign sits out there now? That's just something we'll have to work on.
I think when you get in the field on some of those things, gonna probably determine that.
Okay. And the other one would be, Bob, do you guys make like a half moon shaped sign by any chance? Or is that possible?
No,
Angle it versus something that was a little more panoramic?
you can make them at angles, right? You can,
Just a thought. Thank you.
yeah, I think once you get out there and you see what the elevation needs to be and what the angle needs to be, you get the best placement so that you get as many people seeing it as possible. They'll be very, very visible.
Any other questions for Bob?
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Bob. I want to say one last thing, and that is that we've got the four. We've got two at the main entries to our community, the eastern entry. You know, mile marker 193, mile marker 194. Those are standard signs with no LED. Then the other two we have designate the areas that we'd really like to see people come to, and that is, you know, our downtown area, which brings them off of Highway 18 down North 8th, and our wonderful, as I call it, entertainment area up there with the surf district, and it all will be well designated and shows the amount of pride that we have in our community, which in turn, those people who are coming to town, they, boy, these are great signs, and let's take a look at this town. That's what this is all about, so, great. All right, I'll entertain a motion then for the proposal by LRI Graphics and Sign for four entry signs, two of which are at, I just said, 193, mile marker 194, and at North 8th and 18, and Buddy Holly and 18. And that's in the amount of $87,061. And then we will work with Metal Fabrication and Country Landscapes and the electric to boot with that. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dana, seconded by Mark, that we approve the signs from Miller Graphics and Signs. Is there any discussion?
I'd just like to make one comment about the property on Buddy Holly and give a nod to one of our citizens, Ted Christensen, who, when he decided to sell that property, approached me and said, "Mike, do you think the city's interested in this?" It had a dilapidated house that needed to be torn down, and he had some other offers from people that wanted to build more steel sheds there, and so anyway, we jumped on it, and I think this will be a wonderful location and a really good improvement for the wayfinding of our community. So thank you, Mr. Christensen.
Well noted, Mike. Any other comments? Not appearing. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Chief, report.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. We are still working on finalizing our 2020 annual report. We hope to have this done by the first February meeting. Secondly, we did, as you know, we work with the state on doing tobacco compliance checks every year. And today we did our actual annual checks, and all 100% of the businesses in Clear Lake passed. So very happy about that. I get a couple of questions on this. After a couple of hurdles, we have our second hybrid, that Squad 41, actually in service as of last week. So now we have 2 marked hybrid squad cars out there, both Ford SUVs. Very excited about getting that on the street. And then finally, we had our first significant snowfall on the 14th into the 15th. We really didn't have any issues with that. Did about 30 traffic or parking tickets, unfortunately, but we have worked with several people about getting their cars moved to different locations. We didn't have any issues with the plows. I know that it kind of melted funny on Saturday. We had some complaints on some of the streets, but due to the weather, the conditions, there wasn't much, Public Works can do, but they were notified of those issues. But other than that, I have nothing else to report unless you have any questions.
Comments for Chief? We made it through our first snowfall.
Yes.
Significant. Or recent. Thanks, Chief. Mr. Kornberg?
Not too much to report, I guess. Snow removal last week for us went pretty smooth. Obviously, you always have your certain hiccups, equipment breakdowns, stuff like that just kind of pop up. But our guys started anywhere between 1 and 2 in the morning, and we got done blowing all the snow out, hauling it all out uptown, and finished up right around 1 o'clock, 1:30 Friday afternoon. So, but yeah, it was one of those difficult snows where it was heavy and slushy to begin with, and then froze kind of towards the end. So we ran all our routes once, and then went through and tried to scrape down and get rid of most of the slush that we could on especially all our primary routes, and then kind of headed through the neighborhoods. Probably didn't get through all the neighborhoods before we sent everybody home after 12 hours. So, but not a whole lot of complaints that came through my apartment. PD did notify me of a few, but at that point we really were kind of fighting cold weather, and not a whole lot we could do at that point. Most of it looks like it got crushed down over traffic. We did go back out today a little bit and do some scraping and some curbing just to kind of clean things up. So try and get most of it gone here before this frigid temperatures over the next day or two, and then hope it warms up later in the week and get rid of some more of it. So other than that, if you have any questions about our snow removal operations or anything like that's come up.
Council, any questions for Jeremy?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Under Mayor's report, Chad. Welcome, Chad. CEO North Iowa Corridor.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Definitely excited to hear about the sign project. That a couple years ago when we did Vision North Iowa, one of the things that came up time and again and through our surveys and the focus groups was the entryways into town and beautifying those and the signage. And you've already knocked out part of that with the wayfinding signs, and now doing this I think is going to be a really attractive thing. I'm even thinking putting pictures like we've got around the room up, just showing off what Clear Lake is, and I think that's going to be really cool. Some other cool things happening. A couple of local families and folks looking at doing some projects in Clear Lake and some businesses. We've had an opportunity, and I know Scott and the mayor also have been talking to this family about a project that's looking to happen downtown. Haven't given me the go-ahead to go public completely yet, but some cool things coming. Hopefully in the next month or two be able to talk more about that. But had an opportunity to connect them with Papa John Center and some funding opportunities today, and looking forward to working through some of that with them, and then ultimately some marketing and hopefully some groundbreaking activities here in the months ahead. So excited for that. Another family reached out to me this weekend actually, that I know that's a Clear Lake family, and they're looking at, they don't know what yet, but they want to start a business, and they've already started doing some market research and reached out for some assistance and some ideas on that. So I know we'll be talking with the chamber and again with JPEC and some of our other partners to help them and see where that goes. So just nice to see that commitment, that kind of encouragement and excitement that people have. They want to invest in this community. They want to be a part of all those successes like Scott mentioned. And you see things like McKesson, you see some of these industrial and commercial projects happen. It leads to these next things, right? These little offshoots and these cool amenity type and quality of life projects that we're seeing. So really cool stuff. Also here in the last 2 weeks, had a call from a realtor that was looking for some potential land to do a small warehouse project with a fairly large company, but it'd be about a 2 to 3 acre site for an 8,000 square foot facility initially and an opportunity to grow from there. So appreciate Scott helped me get some contacts with the Rocca folks and their potential sites, and obviously the Hall sites and even a site down there by McKesson. So looking at a few options on that and seeing where they go. They're looking up and down I-35, but so I think we got our foot in the door there. We'll see where that one goes. Also, several funding assistance opportunities right now. I've had a few businesses locally that have reached out, having some COVID-related issues. Of course, we've got some assistance that we did with the Small Business Recovery Fund. Right now, we're really trying to focus people towards the new round of PPP funding that was opened up through the federal government. We've also got our RLF opportunity through NIACOG. They've got a 0% interest loan that we're directing people to. Actually, these two businesses that I mentioned earlier, one of them we're applying for funding through that. That's the other group we met with today to work on that. So good resources there. And there's also a couple of upcoming programs, one through LISC, and I forget what that stands for, but they've got up to a $20,000 grant, and another one through Main Street USA that's up to $5,000 or $20,000 grants as well for small businesses, and those both open next week. So we're starting to market those and make sure our businesses are aware. Again, all the outside funding we can pull into our community, the better. So continue to work hard on that. Several things happening on Vision North Iowa, several video projects. You saw the video we did earlier this past year. Also continue to working on our digital economy plan. The first week of that is underway and pushing that forward. Again, partnership with JPEC, the chambers, the cities. Appreciate Scott's assistance on that. So a lot of things moving on that front, a lot of good things in the works. Finally, it's legislative time. They had the first week here, so we're continuing to track that. Not a lot of things this week. Obviously, the governor kind of outlined her priorities, and so we're tracking all of those things. Sounds like broadband's a big issue, childcare, housing, number of things that we'll again be working on. Actually do have a meeting with Shannon Latham, new elected representative, so going to be talking through our priorities with her. If you have any items or issues, concerns, things you want me to bring up in that discussion, please let me know. But again, we just want to try to make our influence felt where we can and make sure that we're pushing Iowa forward and they're not doing anything that limits our economic development activities. So that's about all I got.
Council, any questions for Chad? Marketing, marketing, marketing. Thanks, Chad. Stacy, it's my understanding you're on?
I am.
Oh, great.
I'm here.
Who won the game?
I would love to report that it was the Lions, but they fell a little short today for the Bulldogs.
It was the effort that counted then. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Okay.
look pretty good out there.
Yeah.
So they'll get the hang of it. Thanks for letting me jump on here. I've been listening on my ride home and was able to dial in here, and I just want to say thanks to the council for taking a look at this sign project. I think it's really going to be a great reflection of who we are as a community and where we're going. I also want to give a shout out to Jake Capriva and Chris Funderman. They kind of started the ball rolling on this whole idea a little over a year ago at a Parks and Rec meeting, and then obviously COVID hit and the timing wasn't quite right. And then when Bob came in and introduced himself at the chamber and we learned about the work he was doing with the school, it seemed like a natural path forward now, given all of the exciting things that are happening from an economic development standpoint. So just wanted to make sure to give them credit for, being kind of the people who initially thought of this idea and got the ball rolling. The next thing I want to share is that our annual meeting is next Tuesday at the Surf Ballroom. If you're not comfortable in attending in person, we do also have a virtual option. If you'd like to attend the annual meeting, we'll need to know right away tomorrow morning as we have to submit the order for food, but we've got some event, and the program will begin at 12 and wrap up around 1 o'clock. And then finally, similar to some of the work we're doing with Vision North Iowa, we are working on a refresh of the ClearLakeIowa.com website. We have over 600,000 visitors come through our website every year. We want to make sure that that's an accurate representation of who we are as a community as well. And so you'll see some changes rolling out and some updates to that website coming in the next few months. That's all I have unless anyone has any questions.
Council, any questions for Stacy? Stacy, any reaction, positive, negative, with regard to COVID and our Main Street businesses? They've been doing well?
We've heard a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of favorable responses in regard to how our retailers have weathered summer and then some good Christmas shopping happening. There are some that are definitely struggling. One reported being down 80% year over year. So just want to continue to encourage everyone when you're buying a gift or celebrating an anniversary or what have you, make sure to shop and dine local. Continue to support those businesses so we can get through this time and not lose anybody along the way.
Thank you. I think you just said it. We need to shop local as much as we possibly can. Thanks, Stacy. You know, interesting times, but these are opportunity times, as noted tonight. Creighton noted that. Chip did as well. We've gotten some very, very good rates in our refinancing, and we need to be thankful for that as well. But you know, you've heard me harp about entryways for a good number of years, and we are coming around to doing all of that, and I think it will get better and better now. When the good weather comes around and the grass begins to grow, we've got to make sure we live up to that and take care of those entryways as people come and as people leave. We need the positive mindset there. Mr. Flory.
I don't have anything tonight. Just encourage you to take a look at the LED boards out here before you leave. Bob and they were so gracious to leave them here for us, so appreciate that. And I'm going to shop local here at Quick Start in a little bit and go get some chicken. Hopefully there's still some warm left. If I don't beat Gary there, I'm going to race him out there. He's going to get stuck with the cold. So, but I don't have anything other than Creighton and I are working on the budget, so we're going to really start knuckling down on that next couple of weeks. So probably put together a couple more meetings, talk about revenues on that, and then tidy that up. So if anybody has any questions.
Questions? Thanks, Scott. Again, I want to thank Bob and Dan for coming tonight. It's nice to do business with a family that has been here a long time, and our thoughts with you, Bob, on the loss of your mom, Arlene, and it's just great to have you guys here and to be able to do some business with you as well. Thanks. Any further business?